On this channel just a few days ago, we caught Disney contradicting itself on just how robust their search for a new CEO has been. Right after Bob Iger reclaimed his position as CEO, he was seen taking several public outings with a handful of internal Walt Disney Company candidates to be next in line for the big chair. However, since then, he's extended his own contract to 2026. That would seem to indicate that none of these people are going to be the next CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, where we talk about streaming, theme parks, entertainment, and video games. Today, we're talking about the annual Executive Predictions article from CNBC's Alex Sherman, in which a dozen or so executives anonymously tell Sherman their predictions for the next year. Many of them are right on the money, and some of them are definitely not. This year, there were more predictions about who Disney's next CEO is going to be. Let's get into it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's return to the predictions here. Let's see. Bob Iger will again extend his contract as Disney CEO. All who agree, say aye.
Aye.
Well, I say aye if they let him.
Yeah, I think they might. If depending on if this next one happens, Nelson Peltz and Jay Rizzullo will win their campaign to join the Disney board. Let's read the text on this one. One thing that may prevent Iger from extending his contract is if Nelson Peltz and Jay Rizzullo get board seats. Last week, activist investor Peltz and former Disney chief financial officer Jay Rizzullo criticized Disney's failed succession planning as part of a statement announcing their intentions to run for Disney's board of directors when nominees are selected next year. That would be March and April. In our view, Disney's board has failed to fulfill its essential responsibilities, overseeing the development of an effective strategy, planning for orderly succession, aligning executive pay with performance. Whoa, that's a big one right there. And ensuring accountability for exceptional operational execution. Did anybody happen to catch, me and Mexican Iron Man did a video here on That Park Place this morning. Did anyone catch the little snafu that the incoming board member, Mr. James Gorman, made on CNBC? And we talked about it here on That Park Place.
No, didn't catch
What
that.
did he say?
Well, let's see if I just happen to have the clip here.
You are just coming off a succession process. What, to the extent, is going to inform you trying to help succession at Disney, which is going to become an important component of your board work there, that you've learned from this process?
Well, they're forming a succession committee, which I'll be joining, so I'll be able to.
Did anyone catch it there?
Wait a minute. My grammar senses are telling me that I detected future tense there.
Yeah.
Well, they're forming a succession committee, which I'll be joining, so I'll be able to.
Disney has been saying for quite some time, and I put the article up on screen with Bob Iger's comments, saying that there is a robust succession plan that is ongoing, as opposed to we've hired someone, we've got in a new board member who is planning to form a succession committee. He's planning on asking out a lot of women, guys, and they're very good looking. I promise you.
They're going to get started. They had already started getting ready to get started. How dare you impugn their integrity, Jonas? How dare you, sir?
Sorry, Vash, were you going to say something there?
Oh, well, no, I mean, that's a very interesting take right there. Michelle, you had mentioned it before. If they let Bob Iger extend his contract, this board is handpicked, and I think this speaks to Alex Sherman's prediction right here in terms of getting some of these board members on, potentially Nelson Peltz and Jay Rizzullo, because it would be the first board members in a long time to be able or not be handpicked by Iger himself and be able to push back on some of this a little bit right here, which would definitely improve the company, I would think. For right now, we have board members who specialize in telecommunications. Some of them specialize in the pharmaceutical industry. One of them is the CEO of GM.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And we just say that Disney is screwed in 2024. No matter what happens with the proxy fight.
But you guys,
2024 is awful for this company.
Box office worth, yes.
Yeah, well, but I think you're disregarding that one of the board members specializes in forced labor, and that's something Disney may need in the future.
You're actually right, Culture. I had not thought of that.
So funny.
Get Winnie to the honey mines now.
That's right.
that would, of course, be Mark Parker from Nike. Now, speaking of things that might develop that may not be good for the company in 2024, Prediction number 4 is Iger will name Dana Walden his successor as Disney CEO.
Okay, who's Dana Walden?
Well, Dana Walden, is she a former Fox executive?
Yes.
Yes.
So she came in and was made. Alan Bergman was the head of Walt Disney Studios, and the executive in charge of Disney Entertainment, which includes the television division as well as Disney Studios. And when Fox was purchased, Dana Walden was named co-chair of this entire division. And the two of them, as we've come to understand, butt heads continuously. And Dana Walden has TV experience. I think with Fox, she's had some.
She's the one that. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I mean she's also linked to some very bad groups. I mean,
well, Culture's right. Dana, she was primed to be the next. 100%. They were sending her to white tie events at the White House. I mean, she was supposed to be the next in line. She is problematic to such a degree that she still may be the next CEO, but she's been problematic to such a degree that they've had to delay. And I think if ultimately she's not selected, it's because of those problematic groups that Culture's talking about.
I'll also point out that according to our sources, so take this with a grain of salt. And I am not just saying that I want to say something and get away with whatever I want to say because I'm saying
she's connected with the Illuminati. I knew it.
No, she's one of the people that's pushing for Kathleen Kennedy to stay longer. I don't know that she's actively still doing that, but she was one of the people that stood up for the performance of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and helped to blame it on the marketing people.
That's yes.
Instead of the people who made the movie and made a movie that no one seems to really talk about or enjoy talking about.
It's going to be harder to keep Kathleen Kennedy and defend her after the Acolyte. We've had some new stuff come out. I don't know if you guys are going to talk about it, but new stuff is coming out about the Acolyte, and it's.
Yes, we will be talking about the Acolyte, despite a warning that I've heard from the ether that there's some conspiracy theorist out there who's saying that people's lives will be in danger if they investigate the Acolyte. That was the spookiest one that I've heard. Now,
I was just going to say, though, the Walt Disney Company has wanted a female CEO for quite some time, more than 10 years at least. So Dana Walden was definitely positioned to be that next successor. We saw her via photos at Disneyland Paris, for example, rocking aside Bob Iger. And it's like, what is she doing there? She's a studio executive. Well, obviously she was being set up for that role. She also helped take down Peter Rice, interestingly enough, or at least took Chapek's side on it.
Well, he was a threat.
Yeah, that's right.
That actually leads to an interesting question you could pose for you guys to predict. Will the next CEO of Disney, will they have to be either a woman or person of color?
No, I have no issue with either of those things specifically. The only thing I would, of course, push back on, and I'm not saying that you're accusing us of anything here. The only thing I would push back on there is if they are only viewing their diversity status, then they're going to make the same mistake that they've made with so many of their choices.
No.
In other words, yes.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm asking. I mean, just if that's what they're like, the main thing they're looking for. We'll say the way we were told that's what was specifically looked for in a vice president last time was.
Yes,
right.
Here's the one
obviously that worked out very well for the woman who is a walking Mad Lib, and you never quite know what's going to come out of her mouth.
The one pushback I would say is that for all of these elites, it's always rules for thee, but not for me. So for everybody below the C-suite, we have to make that the priority. However, that's not fair if you're Bob Iger. How dare you question his skin color? How dare you bring up his melanin? How dare you bring up his ancestry? And how dare you talk about his hippos and showers? Quit it!
Right, he would have been the one. Iger would have been the one to specifically say, "Hey, let's put these literal check marks next to all of our board members' names for whether or not they are diverse." So that was, I still cringe thinking about that one.
Absolutely,
so,
100% correct.
Now, the last two board members they named were old white guys. I'm not saying that that's a good thing that they picked old white guys, but they picked them based off their qualifications instead of their skin color. Sir Jeremy Darish, which was he was an executive at Sky Media. So we do finally have a media executive on the board. Regardless of where they come from, they have needed a media executive on the board of the Walt Disney Company for some time. So they're at least doing that. And I think that Gorman, based off of his comments and the way he's handled himself, he is good at handling himself in an interview, and he appears to be very competent in CEO succession planning. The one thing from the video this morning that I want to point out is there were 3 people up for the CEO job at Morgan Stanley. One of them got it, and the other 2 people stayed on at the company in lesser positions. So that is a CEO succession plan executed perfectly, in my opinion. So
that's surprising.
That this might show more of a focus on qualification rather than just checking the box, which I don't think anybody just wants a checkbox mentality here on either side, because it's insulting to both sides of that argument. So this other one, which on that same note is so cringy. The second person threw out a different name to keep an eye on, Andrew Wilson, the CEO of Electronic Arts. Oof. I would say if you were somehow hoping to lower the standing of the Disney Company even farther, yes, you could go to Electronic Arts to select your next CEO.
Who amazingly managed to outperform Activision Blizzard in the category of despised video game companies. So
yes,
wow.
If there's anybody more hated than Disney in our space, at least, it would be Electronic Arts.
It's funny to me that Comcast, the giant cable mega corporation, is moving in the other direction, while Electronic Arts seems to be moving even further down. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think Dana Walden is going to be the next CEO of the Walt Disney Company? Or is it someone else that isn't even on our radar yet? Perhaps the CEO of Mattel. This clip was part of our now regular Thursday live stream, which starts at noon Eastern time. Of course, if you're not in that time zone, just hit the notification bell if you'd like YouTube to just tell you when that is. Like this video if you like this video. If you know someone who is as interested as we are in this sort of nerdy stuff, then maybe you should share the link with them. And of course, please consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.